Welcome back to 13C. Today, I've got the brand new Tavor X95 out with me. I just picked this up earlier today, and these are going to be the first few rounds through it. Looks like we're off to a good start. So I know one of the first questions you guys are going to have right out of the gate is what kind of improvements have they made and what's different about the X95 as compared to the regular Tavor. As you guys know, I have a regular Tavor. It's actually my home defense rifle, and it has been for quite a while now. So one of the first things, as we're going to drop the magazine out, instead of the magazine release being right here on the regular Tavor, they moved it up here. So you can actually actuate it with your index finger. If you notice, my finger's pretty long for it. I have to kind of bring my finger back a little bit. Doesn't really too much change my grip on the rifle, but I do have to bring that back a little bit and almost index it with the tip of my index finger, that first knuckle. Now let's give it a try. There we go, I actuated it, but hex mag doesn't quite drop free. Interesting to note here, as you guys know, the hex mags have kind of become my favorite go-to magazine simply because they work in all my rifles. I don't have to worry about generations. So, next question. What kind of magazines are we looking at in the X95? This is a USGI pattern magazine. It's got this black Teflon coating on it. Magazine release is right back here. Just tap it. Closes pretty easy. Very nice. Locks back open, does fine. Ah, it drops free. This is a Generation 1 PMAG. Let's see how this does. This time I'm actually running some wolf ammo in here. Let's see how she does. Locks open just fine. Ooh, she drops free. This is a Gen 2 windowed PMAG. Locks up, bolt goes home. That one drops free fairly easy. Now that magazine I've run through a lot of classes. It's gone in and out quite a bit. Holy cow, we're smoking here. I think we're burning off some of that factory protectant they put in there. All right, let's see what's next. We've got a Gen 3 PMAG. This Gen 3 P is what, actually mine shipped with a windowed Gen 3 PMAG. I actually still left that in the wrap. This is just a regular Gen 3 PMAG. And she locks open again. This one does not drop free. Got to strip it out. And I brought out here just because I tried this in the house with the bolt locked back. It will insert. The problem is that, and why this won't work, is that lip that sticks up right there just sticks up a little bit too much to clear in the both in the regular Tavor and this X95. So they won't work. The X products will not work in there. For what it's worth, the Magpul D60s, it looks like will work in this. I do not have one of those to try out here today though. So there's a few other things that we can talk about here. Let's go over to another area where I can compare these guys side by side. So the X95 maintains a lot of the features that I liked from the original Tavor, such as the 16.5-inch 1-in-7 twist cold hammer forged barrel. It's got your backup iron sights that still fold flush into the rail, peep sight in the back, and then in the front it has a tritium insert in the front sight post, which is really nice to see. They've maintained that. You've got a threaded barrel, of course, and then the handguard, working from the front here, the handguard is one of the first things you notice that's different. On this, you can actually push in the tabs and slide these panels right off from both sides and the bottom, so you'll have rail all the way around. That's a nice feature to see. One of the things that the original Tavor, one of the issues that I had was where to put a light on it. I wasn't a fan necessarily of the OEM handguard, and I replaced mine with this arc light rail from Manticore Arms. I like this handguard. I kind of like the look of the original as well, but trying to find a light, one of the best things that I found was this arc light. Puts a light inside there, easy to activate, and just does an all-around good job there. You'd be offset here if you want to put a laser or something like this on this side, but trying to put a light up here and activate it with your hand it just wasn't convenient. So that's why this arc light really came in handy. You really won't have that issue on this rifle unless you wanted to bring something out and make it kind of look like this, which it does make this rifle look nice. While we're talking about this, before we move over to the other one, point out charging handle is located way in the front here. And then of course your magazine release that I mentioned earlier on the Tavor is right here. The X95, the charging handle, is moved somewhat more to the rear, makes it a little easier to get a hold of, and of course if you run your hand further out, you're not running into it as much either. Magazine release, as I pointed out, is right here, and it's ambidextrous on both sides. You also get an additional QD point on this. On the Tavor, you've got standard setup would be 3 QD points, and if you change the rifle over, you move that forward one over to the other side. On this, you have 5 at any given time. You have 2 in the front, 1 on each side. You have 1 right here, and then if you were to flip this around and change this to the other side, you could actually switch sides on that. And then in the back, you have 1 on each side here in the back as well. You can see I've run mine on this side because it allows it to hang nicer and also makes it easier when you transition shoulders. The pistol grip. So it's a fixed pistol grip on the original Tavor. This one is actually removable. You can take this off and replace it with a standard pistol grip that would just cover the trigger itself. And then this portion here would be omitted. That's nice to see. I may wind up picking one of those up to run it that way. Still up in the air about that one. The mag well on here, in addition to deleting the mag release here, it's been moved forward just a little bit, so you have a little less distance here. Even with a loaded magazine, it helps to balance a little nicer. The original Tavor still balances really nice. It's a good design for a bullpup, but this just kind of adds to the overall ease of use and handling. It's kind of hard to describe. I'm still trying to get a feel for it. This is, you know, I haven't spent a lot of time with it one-on-one other than at events up until I picked this up. So this is something that I'm still getting used to. And in the back, your magazine release, these 2 tabs right here. We've got the bolt locked back right now. Push, down it goes. Slightly different on the original Tavor here. You have this larger area there that's a little more pronounced. We'll lock this back here for you. Here, while it's textured, there's no actual wings or anything on there to grab. And then of course, when it's locked back, it sticks out significantly further. And just push it back up again to send it home. When I first got this rifle home, I wound up doing a field stripping video on it. Let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. So I actually wanted to get home and shoot this guy right away, but they're tilling around the range right now, laying in some anhydrous ammonia as well. So we're going to steer clear of that area until it settles back down. Plus there's the noise issue as well with our audio. Hopefully not too much that'll get picked up here. So we got a Savvy Sniper sling on here, 2-to-1 point. You'll actually see more of that later. That's a pretty good sling for bullpups here. So we want to make sure this guy is clear to start out with. You lock the bolt to the rear, make sure it's empty, there's nothing in it. And leave your hammer cocked on this. It'll make your disassembly much easier. To start, you take out this rear pin, push it in, and actually use your finger and do that fairly well. Pull it out all the way, you'll hear it click. It's a captive pin. Pull out your entire assembly. And then flip it over, and on the bottom here, there's 2 more pins. Comes with this little bag, exact same stuff pretty much as that came with the Tavor. A number of different brushes, bristles, and accessories. I'm just going to use the end of this brass one here to punch these 2 pins out. For the trigger pack, get them started. You'd also use the tip of a bullet if you wanted to. That would work pretty well. You pull this up, and out comes the trigger pack. Looks remarkably like the original Tavor trigger pack. These are backwards compatible, but you cannot take a first generation Tavor trigger pack and try and put it in this rifle. It won't function properly. So this is about a 4 to 6 pound trigger. You can purchase these, looks like individually from IWI if you want to, so that you can go ahead and convert your older Tavors into this lighter trigger weight if you were so inclined. So that's something to look into if that interests you. This also works the bolt. You can slide this down and pull it out if you like, just like that. That's actually your bolt hold right there. When you have your trigger pack in, you don't want to be messing with this and pushing this end further down in here. You'll slide it out of the track and it'll kind of get trapped up there inside itself. And when you do that, it can be a little bit of a pain to try and get that to then go properly. So keep that in mind. That when this is out, it slides in and out of there pretty easily. So we'll drop the trigger pack back in there for now. You can actually pop these pins out and I believe disassemble this one. Glancing over the manual, it's pretty thorough on that. If you really want to give that a thorough cleaning in there, unlike the original first generation one, which they didn't recommend, those pins go right back in. Talk about this real quick here. There's going to be a full video on how to break this down with all the pins and everything coming up later in the future. This is just a really brief overview for your everyday field stripping, if you will. This bar on the bottom, you actually slide this backward and it'll stick out like so. And what that does is it moves a slot out of the way to push this pin out. It's kind of like removing a cotter pin off of an AR-15 bolt that allows you to slide this cam out. There we go. Cam pin comes out and the bolt and trigger translate out. Now since I'm over a deck right here on the back of my house, I'm not going to pull this out because I don't want to risk losing that spring and then having to order another one, not be able to shoot this guy for a week or however long it takes me to get another one. So I'm not going to do that out here right now, but it is an absolutely gorgeous day. I can't believe it. It's probably close to 70 degrees out here right now, and which, you know, you follow the channel, you see some of the other videos, there's snow on the ground about 2 weeks ago, so it is a very nice day. Anyway, slide that pin back in, your cam, and then push this back in, locks back up, and you are good to go. This bolt actually, with that spring, rotates in and out. It is spring loaded, and that's how that functions in that regard. And of course your firing pin. So put it back together, you just slide it in here. Push your pin back in, you're ready to go. To lock this bolt back, as I mentioned earlier, pull down on these two pins, and there you go. So a couple other items and note of what comes in this cleaning kit. You get this bigger bristle brush here, a couple brass brushes, one with the chamber cleaning, small oil bottle. You also get some cleaning rod sections to assemble a full cleaning rod, and then a couple more items here. This tool you can use to aid in breaking it down. You also need this to disassemble the barrel, to get the barrel out, and you can use this in order to rotate your front sight post and get your height right, as well as then reset the position on your tritium insert there. It also comes with 2 QD sling swivel studs as well. Overall, the general handling characteristics of the X95 compared to the original Tavor are very similar. I've got the Savvy Sniper 2 to 1 point sling on here, and this probably deserves its own standalone video, and I'll wind up doing that in the future at some point. But having us connected over here allows for you to be able to bring up and shoulder, transition very easily from shoulder to shoulder, as well as continue to let it hang and do whatever kind of administrative tasks you would need to do without it flopping around. You can still, with just your thumb, lengthen it out to get whatever kind of reach that you might need, and then with just your thumb tighten it back up. Of course, it does have that QD potential, so you could even QD back here if you wanted to, or right into the built-in stud, which is actually the way this was designed to go, was to click in just like that. So you've got that as well. Shoulders nicely, and because it's on that other side, it moves over to this side as well very nicely. So something to keep in mind there. looking forward, we're gonna have another video on this to feature in on some accuracy as well as some of the longer term reliability. Today we did about 250 rounds of Federal American Eagle 223. That's kind of their lower price point plinking ammunition. And this guy ate it all up. We also fired a couple other magazines at some various other ammo as well without a single hiccup. So right out of the gate here, reliability wise, probably pushing good 300 plus rounds. Not a single issue so far. Just preliminary sight-in of the red dot here. I'm gonna go with about a 2-inch grouping roughly. Obviously we run some better ammo through that. We'll see how that tightens up, and I'll put a real magnified optic on here to see just what I can do. Pick up maybe some 10 or 20 round magazines so that we can actually get this thing on a rest and see exactly how it will group. I would be willing to guess, just based on my initial impressions here, that with maybe some of the Federal Gold Medal Match 223 that I have, and getting rested in a nice solid shooting stable platform, maybe we can get closer down to maybe the 1 1/4, definitely sub 1.5 inch, maybe 1 1/4-ish inch groupings on that. The trigger pack in here, this 4 to 6 pound trigger pack, is definitely nice and crisp enough to be able to do that. If you wanted to put the Geissele in here, like I mentioned, make sure it's a 2nd generation Geissele Tavor trigger pack. It's the Super Sabra. Make sure it's that 2nd generation, not the original 1st generation. Remember, you can go backwards compatible. 2nd generation can go to 1st, but you can't go the other way around. You can't go from 1 to 2. So keep that in mind. We'll also have a standalone video here of the new range. As you can tell, you've gotten some shots of it and whatnot, and you see some of the things we have out here. Definitely a bigger overview, and also kind of where we're going, where we're headed on the channel, and some of the trials and tribulations we've had with this range. As you can tell, we've got some grass here, but not a lot. Late into last year did the planting. I've got some more seed out here. Probably shouldn't really be walking around on it right now, but it's just a beautiful day and I'm enjoying myself out here. So you guys have any questions, facebook.com/gun reviews, great place to leave those questions, as well as you could do it right here on the channel if you wanted to. Instagram, have a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We have a lot of fun over there. We are at 13C Gun Reviews there as well. I've actually got some ribs on the smoker right now. I need to go check on those, but we're gonna get one more magazine off here and call it a day. Thanks again, everybody. We really appreciate it. Stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't already, and be safe.